Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Welcome to day 30 of the yoga challenge. Wow, this has been quite a journey, and I feel so honored to have been there with you in each step of this process. Yoga is a path, a journey. It's not a destination. It's something that'll be there with you for your entire life. Just as the human spirit can infinitely expand outward, the yoga practice is there with you moment by moment to assist your expansion. I hope you've gotten a taste of what it feels like to really live the yogi life. Commit to the practice, commit to your own spiritual growth to make your world a brighter, more beautiful place, starting from within and radiating outward. This yoga challenge has paired the asana practice with a spiritual theme so that you can begin to integrate the lessons that you learn on your mat into your everyday life. The theme of day 30 of the yoga challenge is freedom. Now, I am here in the United States of America, and one of our favorite slogans is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Freedom is one of the core values, you could say, of the USA. But what I want to bring your attention to is to question what freedom actually means. We think we're free over here. We think we're free to do this and free to do that. Freedom is written into the Constitution and into the fabric of most of the laws in the US. But the question becomes, no matter where you are in the world, what does it mean to actually be free? You think you're free because the government says you can do this or that, but the real chains, the real restrictions exist in the mind. You think you're free, but everywhere you are in chains. Those chains exist as old habit patterns, called in Sanskrit the samskaras. These habit patterns which force you out of their own power of inertia to recreate the negative experiences of the past, making the future kind of a copy and very predictable based on what you've experienced in the past. You try desperately to change, but you're blocked into the same old patterns until you come to the practice of yoga, which gives you the tools to truly find what freedom really means. If the mind is not free to choose conscious and intelligent, wise action moment to moment, then no governmental laws will ever make you free or not free. In fact, true freedom can only exist in your mind and in your spirit. So set your mind free with the practice of yoga. Break the chains of old thoughts, the chains of who you think you might have been or who you need to be, and become who you truly are. That is the real promise of the yoga practice. Now, when we take a look at the context of where freedom as a promise of yoga comes from, we look at Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, written in 4 books. The 4th book is titled Kaivalyapada, or the Book of Freedom. Kaivalya is often translated as freedom, but if we take a look in the etymology of the word in Sanskrit, it comes from kevala, which is translated as isolation or aloneness. So now this feels confusing. We're like, wait a minute, how is freedom aloneness? Well, if we go all the way back to kind of the core root of where suffering and ignorance comes from, according to yoga philosophy, when you as an individual wrongly conflate the eternal with the temporal, or you wrongly mix up what is true from what is untrue, when you can't tell what's real and what's not real, then the mind gets totally lost and inevitably suffers. For example, when you identify with the world of your body, the world of your thoughts, and you try to hold on to that and make it permanent and root your identity in the ever-changing manifestations of the physical world, you will suffer. Remember, suffering in Sanskrit is called dukkha. So when we look for kaivalya, we look for freedom, we're looking at the isolation of that which is true from that which is untrue. Specifically, we have this dichotomy between purusha and prakriti, between the spirit and the material. And so much of the work in yoga is about isolating what is true from what is untrue, what is eternal from what is temporal, what is noumenal from what is phenomenal, what is purusha and what is prakriti, what is the true self and what is just the ego. So when we talk about freedom or isolating that out, what this actually means is we're breaking the chains of confusion between one way of seeing and another, setting your mind totally free. Free from any preconceived notions, free from any stories you tell about reality, free to choose intelligent action moment to moment, and free to become who you truly are. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, talks about the true realm of human freedom. And what he says is that there's a space between stimulus and response. Stimulus meaning what you interact with from the world around you. And you could consider this to be some sort of stimulus, meaning there's a stimulus could be something coming in through the visual channel. I'm speaking to you now. Auditory channel, you're listening to me now. Physical, kinesthetic channel, you're feeling in the body. There may be a smell where you are. I don't know what it smells like where you are. There may be a smell where you are. It smells good where I am anyway. So now there are all these different things, textures, tastes that come in through the sense objects. And this is considered stimulus. Then how you respond to that stimulus is either rooted in freedom or is rooted in the samskaras, the behavioral patterns rooted in the past. Yoga is an effort of inserting space between stimulus and response. And Viktor Frankl, he says that humankind's true freedom is in the space between stimulus and response. If you don't know Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, I highly recommend it. Viktor Frankl is a Holocaust survivor who discovered this search for meaning and a quest for meaning as kind of the last human freedoms. And he discovered that while he was in a concentration camp. And he noticed that those individuals who were able to insert space between the horrible stimuli that Holocaust victims and people in those circumstances experienced, those who were able to insert space in between the stimulus and how they responded, were able to generate meaning from their suffering. So for example, each time that he faced a difficult circumstance, Viktor Frankl inserted a pause and said to himself in that pause, I choose to survive this circumstance so that I will tell the story and make sure it never happens again. So when you insert space between stimulus and response, you get to choose what is a potentially empowering, life-changing, and maybe even world-changing course of action. What is freedom to you? Much more than any government laws saying this you can do, this you cannot do. It doesn't matter. Sure, the government policies, definitely we should fight for those we believe in, and we should take action based on alignment with our moral values and all of that sort of stuff. However, the true freedom is always within. Then, no matter what country you find yourself in, no matter what world leader is in place, when your freedom lies within your own mind and your mind has been set free, you don't follow any of the rules, you don't fit any of the boxes, you're a totally new wine in a new wineskin. This is a way to think about a sort of true spiritual rebirth and awakening. And it's something that defies all convention, all paradigms, and sets your mind totally free. So if you're ready to practice yoga and experience this freedom, join me on omstars.com and let's finish out this challenge really, really well. Experience freedom in the body, freedom in the mind, freedom in the soul. In the soaring heights of true consciousness, it's almost as though the body becomes pure light, the mind becomes pure wisdom, and the heart becomes pure love. And that spiritual journey is the true level of self-realization that brings you closer and closer to the divine oneness that is all things in all time. Come to a comfortable seated position and close your eyes. Check in with the quality of your breath. Check in with the feeling in the body. Notice how your body feels. Feel your mind and your emotions. And then rest your attention at the heart center. And just gently say the words, I am free. I am free to choose my response to every situation. I am free in the spirit. No chains can ever hold me. I choose freedom. Freedom to be myself. Freedom to grow. I break every chain of the past. And feel your heart's natural desire to expand infinitely outward. I am free to love. And then gently allow yourself a deeper breath. And softly open the eyes. One of the things that I find is so powerful about even a few moments of inward direction of the mind is that you can dive down into the depth level, kind of touch the subconscious level, and you have more energy, more joy, more vitality. and you can carry that into your life. So my hope is that you take this little piece of inspiration and inspires you to practice, you get on the mat, and you carry those lessons you learn on the mat into every moment of your life, so that you're that little bit more bright and shiny, spreading a little bit more joy and love in every situation in your life. Learn the lessons of the yoga practice. They're deep, powerful life lessons that only you can learn. And the yoga practice will be there with you moment by moment in good circumstances, in bad circumstances, and in every moment of your life, so that you can find the truth of the journey and return to that state of freedom that is your natural way of being, the freedom that is the true self within. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. I hope you stay inspired to practice. And remember, we've got one more day, so don't give up yet. Namaste.